Like, must be.
Then you get, yeah.
What's no?
We all do. Well, not all do.
Not me.
No.
In the hospital where she works, it's even cooler than air conditioning.
But if you're gonna move to Canada,
Air conditioned car back in the summer, 16 hours.
but if you're gonna own the lodge,
The lodge is open only during the summer. We're all good. And in the second half of the year.
yep, we're good. It's 5:30. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for coming this evening. Item 3 on our agenda is our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be their personal best through successful learning experiences. Become your best. Item 4, adoption of the agenda and consent agenda as an order of business with the identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second.
I move we adopt the agenda and consent agenda as the order of business.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Consider then the approval of the consent agenda as adopted. Approve the minutes of May 21st, 2024 Board of Education meeting. Approve the financial report for the period July 1, 2023 through May 31st, 2024. Approve the bills for the period of May 1, 2024 through May 31st, 2024 in the amount of $1,984,070.81. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you. Finance, Buildings, and Grounds, consider gifts and corresponding budget adjustments. Daniel, take us through these.
Yes, we have a few gifts, and again, thank you to the community for those gifts and donations. A couple big ones on here this time, so it's kind of fun. First of all, we have a donation of Think Car Platinum S20 Automotive Diagnostic System to be used in the automotive class from Matt Gritt. Matt Gritt does some work with us in our formula team for our tech team too, so thank you for that. A donation of a 2012 Chevrolet Sonic for the automotive class from Jessica Viervek. Thank you. And then a donation of $19,974 from the Parkview PTK for new playground equipment at Parkview Elementary School, and that will be going in this summer, and the district is also contributing some of that as well, so there's should be a nice playground revamp over there for next school year. A donation of $626.70 from Sheboygan County Chamber of Commerce for the transportation to LTC for our 7th graders to Explore Your Future Day. Those are the gifts. Thank you again very much, and we'll make the necessary adjustments.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the receipt of the gifts and the corresponding budget adjustments.
I make a motion, we accept the gifts and the budget adjustments.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? And again, a big thank you to everyone who contributed. Item 7, consider approval of the Plymouth School District's membership renewal to the WIAA for the period of 2024 through 2025 school year.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we talked about this a little bit before at the committee of the whole, but again, there is no fee for this. It's just in order to be a member of the WIAA, we have to approve it every single year as a matter of business.
Okay. I need a motion and a second.
I make a motion that we accept this.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right. Item 8, consider approval of the authorization for the district to continue financial operations until the annual meeting, which is held on October 22nd, 2024. This is just an ongoing item that we need to do formally, right?
Yeah, so we can pay our bills in July.
Oh, that's what you want to do.
I mean, we don't have to.
Spend money. All right, okay. No, all right, so I need a motion to approve the authorization to continue financial operations.
I
So
move.
moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right,
Do we do this every year?
that's what,
Okay.
We did it last
Really?
year. Yeah. Well, I kind of gave a preliminary budget, like, a month ago or so, and we'll be giving updates throughout until the annual meeting. We're just waiting for some more solid info from
I just
DPI.
did not realize we did a formal authorization. So, okay.
I would think the annual meeting would take us through for a whole year to be able to
It only
operate.
takes you to June.
Interesting.
Okay,
Bob, can I just also make note that everyone remembers that October 22nd is actually not the date of the board meeting. Always annually, we've always had we've had the annual meeting that coincides with the board meeting. And last year, we decided at the annual meeting that we are going to have the annual meeting the week after the board meeting. So just everyone remember that for come October.
oh, thank you,
So,
Katrina. That's
Katrina, are
right.
you saying we'll have the school board meeting on October 15th, the 3rd, and then the annual meeting on the 22nd?
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. Item 9, did anyone sign up for
No.
participation? Okay. Item 10, board liaison reports, community ed, Sally?
Sure. Community ed, there's still things going on in the summertime. Boys basketball camp started last week, but kids can still join, sign up for that. Little kids, preschool, Squiggles and Wiggles started this past Monday. They can join in. There's the Friday play group, but this is for all ages since the older kids are out. You do need to sign up, but it is free. They'll let you know which park that they go to each Friday. There's advanced tennis camp for 4th through 7th grade, youth football camp, 4th through 7th grade, middle school lifting, 7th through 8th grade. And then for those who are gluten-free, there's a class, gluten-free living. And then there's also, if you want to do composting, there's intro class to composting worms. And also pickleball is always big, so that is available. That's it for community ed.
Thank you, Sally. Foundation, Janelle?
Yes, well, the foundation met last week, and they kind of had a scholarship recap. So again, thank you to all our scholarship donors, and a reminder, the graduates, please send out thank you notes if you haven't. So our donors would like to hear from the graduates. The foundation won't have any meetings in July, but they're thinking through the retiming or maybe reorganizing when they have the big annual fundraiser. So maybe we can slip it in the spring between sports seasons. So we're working on brainstorming on that. As a continuing fundraisers, though, they have the Plymouth Pride Pump down at the Amico Station on Milwaukee Street. It's across from Antoinette's, so we get 2 cents for every gallon that is pumped into your tank for that one. And also at Walmart, we have the Roundup. You can donate to the charity of choice, and if you designate the foundation, then we'll receive a little funds from them, from Walmart, too.
Oh, that's good.
So that's the update.
Great. All right, thank you, Janelle.
You're welcome.
Family resource, Kathy.
They're continuing their summer programming. The Biddy Book Club is at Mead Library on the 3rd Tuesdays of the month. Bring Your Own Baby is at Above and Beyond on the 3rd Thursday of the month. The Tiny Tots Playgroup is at the Plymouth Public Library the 2nd Thursday of the month. They also have a couple of interesting things going on in June and July. June 25th, they're having Meet Us at Texas Roadhouse. It's an hour of learning about a restaurant in a fun way, take a tour, participate in a scavenger hunt, taste their dinner rolls, and play outdoor games. Unfortunately, registration is today. So this is going to be my plug to check their website because things do come up that are interesting that do require registration. However, if you don't register, you can still dine at Texas Roadhouse on the 25th. Between 3 and 9 and 10% of all proceeds go towards supporting the Family Resource Center, and that you don't have to register for. And in July, on July 16th, they have Pizza with a Purpose at Nourish Farms in Sheboygan Falls from 5 to 7:30. Wood-fired pizza and oven-baked pizzas with an educational presentation from the Family Resource Center at 6:30. There is a cost and pre-registration is required. So check out their website, familyresourcesheboygan.org.
Thank you.
My plug.
That's a lot. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, item 11, we move on to personnel. Dan?
Yes, we've got some, obviously, this hiring season, so we have a number here. So I think what we can do is we can go through the teacher ones first, and then we can act on those, and then we can do the support staff secondarily. Okay? All right, first of all, or wait, no, we're going to do
Oh, that's in personnel consideration.
personnel.
Changes.
The changes are first, aren't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the changes to these two things are first, with Amy will present those.
Oh. In personnel, we have changes to the 2023-2024 teacher employment framework for this year, 24-25. What
Right.
can you tell us?
So we're looking to get these approved tonight, too.
Okay,
So the first one is the health insurance programs. It has red writing on it. I think you should have that, right? This is just some language in the framework. We would like to change the plan year wording of our health insurance program. Right now, the framework says September 1 to August 31st, but we'd like to change it to July 1 to June 30th, because it actually aligns with our actual insurance plan and our plan documents, and it would streamline our annual audit, and it would align the teachers with the same plan years, support staff, and administrators. And then, should I just do all of these, or should they approve them all separately?
Maybe if they've got questions about this one, they can ask first.
Yeah, do you have any
They could do this one
questions
first.
about that date change?
Makes sense.
makes total sense, yeah.
Okay. Then below that, the District Health and Wellness Incentive Program is all struck out. We don't currently run that. We haven't this year either, so we need to remove it. It was like an incentive program that we had with insurance premiums, but found that it actually caused more stress than it was very counterproductive to the insurance plan. So we've just found other ways, and we kind of rely on our health and wellness policy now instead of, administering
Trying
this.
to tie it to
Right,
an incentive plan.
right. So those are the two changes for that.
Why don't we have a motion to approve those two changes, and we'll approve that, and then we'll move on to the compensation one. So I need a motion to approve the two changes to the handbook.
I make a motion, we change the health insurance program to July 1st through June 30th, instead of September 1st, August 30th, and to strike out the health and wellness incentive program. That's not happening.
I second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now take us through the compensation model change.
Yep, okay, so you have two copies. One has more green on it than the other one. So the one with more green is what we currently have. And the proposed changes are the one that has less green. So it's the easiest way to put it. But basically, we want this to model what we've been doing for teacher compensation and teacher pay increases. Some of the things that we currently have, we've kind of phased out and simplified our model and increase process. We moved from flat dollar rate increases to percent increases the last 2 years, which we think is more beneficial than what we had. And by doing that, it kind of, I guess, is forcing us to align the different sections a little bit better, a little bit more streamlined. Instead of them going from initial to progressing to professional, we would like to just combine the initial and progressing into one group. And we increased the pay range for that, the salary range. So previously, an initial educator, the salary range is listed there, but they would be at that level for 3 years, and then they would potentially move to progressing, and that had a different salary range. And then after being in that section for like 4 years, then they would move to professional. And then based on if they had a master's degree or not, they would fall into one of those other 2 categories. A master's degree gives them higher earning potential. So we want to just have the 2 different groups, initial and progressing. And in the initial and progressing, they could be in that section for a max of 6 years. When we look at if we were to bring someone in at base, and if we were to give out increases on what, average we have been doing, they could potentially be in there only on their salary for 6 years, and then they would move to a professional category. It doesn't mean that a teacher has to be in that that first group for 6 years. Sometimes they might come in experienced and they're already in the professional group. So we changed the salary ranges to kind of better match where they would fall based on experience and the salary increases that we've been giving. And then on the left, I just consolidated what was written there. That initial progressing educator is either new to or in the early years of their profession. And you can see the difference in the language there. And then taking out completed at least 3 years as an educator, and I added in 6 years max at that level. And then under professional, we just took out completed at least 6 years of as an educator, because sometimes, they might only have 4, but their salary puts them in that category already. So kind of trying to better align this with what the market is now, and so that teachers can better understand it, and it makes more sense to them and where they fall with their salary.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Yeah.
How is this in comparison to other, like Falls or Howards or whatnot?
I mean, every district seems to kind of have their own, process, or if they have a guide like this. Our salaries are in line with other districts, which is what we were kind of finding, like we're bringing people in at a certain rate because that's the market or that's the counter offer that they had. But that might not align with one of the old categories, and teachers were getting confused.
Sure.
And like, why am I in this category, but my salary is this, and all of that. So this just kind of helps us break them into 2, and what we're finding is, these salaries kind of align with that many years of experience, and these align with that. In a couple of years, we might find out something different and, suggest that we change it again, but right now, I think it's pretty comparable.
So the 6 years max at this level for that entry level, then does that automatically mean they become then a master educator? Or
Yeah,
Or a
if they're not
professional
on like an
educator?
improvement plan or something like that, that's why we have that in there. Like
Okay.
if there's, some, issues with their performance, then we would maybe keep them in this group for another year or so. But we wouldn't want anyone to be in here more than 6. Like if we brought them in at a base wage, and gave them increases that we've been giving, then they would just automatically move to professional in their 7th year because their salary is going to determine that. If their performance is questionable, then their principal could, kind of chime in and decide.
So the hope is that they haven't been with us for 6 years, and at year 7, we're not sure we want to keep them around, right?
Exactly.
And that's, okay.
Right.
But, okay,
Like right now, if we bring an initial educator in at the base, within 3 years, they should be in the progressing as an educator. Like, they should be meeting the metrics and, what's expected and all of that. And we just kind of move them along. Their category is more determined on their salary. So if let's say we bring someone in at, I don't know, say $50,000. Well, in 2 years, they're already going to be in the professional category for salary. So if there's no performance issues, then we would just consider them that. Like, we don't have a formal process where we're like, okay, now your title is professional. They just kind of move based on salary.
okay. Okay,
And we've been, as you know, teachers are moving a little bit more nowadays, even once they've begun their career. It used to be that people would kind of stay where they were because you would never jump to a different district after 5 years and still get your 5 years experience to get put on their salary schedule with 5 years. You would go backwards. Nowadays, because of the shortage, we are looking for really good candidates, and sometimes those candidates are coming to us with 10 and 12 and 15 years of experience, and they've got great reviews coming from where they are. Well, it really isn't right for us to put them in initial. They're not initial. And so
Right.
we're putting them more where the market is placing them, and now our categories are much more broad so that we're not like slotting them into a spot that they really don't belong. So it's a better system for them, because then from that point, they'll most likely move by a percentage base a year.
okay.
A lot of districts don't have something, ours was it was convoluted years ago. This made it better, but this is just, not really aligning with how it is now. And the only reason we have the professional with 2 different is because the master's degree allows them to have a higher earning potential, so the without just has a maximum salary.
Sure. Other questions?
Under the lead assignment compensation, should that have a max amount of hours that they can do that position?
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that yet, but, well, we did a evaluation of the number of hours that they work, and that's how we got to the hourly rate that we have. I don't know.
We're working through the process, but all of the people that we did the audit on that have been in their positions for quite a few years, looking at their hours, none of, they were close but never went over that amount. So principals will work with them, and then they'll submit their time quarterly. Some of their positions, sometimes it's more summer work, sometimes it's during the year, like our iReady after the diagnostics, or helping on the onset of getting people onboarded to it. So it's sort of unique with each person and when the demand is for their position. So just again, by monitoring it this last year,
I think we're pretty comfortable with it, not the need, so, but we will be watching it, so that somebody doesn't hand in.
Right. Thank you.
Now, if you're not a fan of this, what is the rewrite of this model? We can come up with a different idea. If there's something that you don't like, or,
I'm fine with it.
I mean, we could just have two professional categories, and they both start with our starting wage, and they go up to what, the highest level that they have.
I mean, really, the accountability is with the principals on their performance reviews of what the goals are that they're setting. I mean, it's not based upon, that can be related to their salary, but it's not exclusive within that. And so it's really just basing it more on trusting the performance review of the principals that will equate to that, especially the first 6 years, right?
Right. And 6 is quite a few. It was honestly just a combination of the initial and the progressing.
Sure.
Because that one was 7. So, that's really all that was.
Okay. Yeah, it's a different model.
It is.
It is, but from an administrative standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. The key is in how we manage people, and that we're getting the performance that we're getting out of people, and to try to manage them with a compensation system is not necessarily good leadership. So we just need to have good leaders that are managing and training and working with our staff, and I think the rest takes care of itself, so. Okay. All right, so a motion to approve this change?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, now take us through the other personnel.
All right, we have couple of resignations and then a bunch of teachers that we hired, so we'll stop after the resignations and then get those approved and then move through the new hires. So first of all, we have consider the resignation request from Brennan Ward, physical education teacher at Parkview Elementary School, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Brennan was with the district for 1 year. Consider the resignation request from Gina Carland, special education teacher at Plymouth High School, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Gina was with the district for 2 years. And then let's stop after that. Those are the 2 resignations.
Make a motion, we accept the 2 resignations as stated.
I'll accept them.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Okay.
We have a couple of retirements. Consider the retirement from Ginger Bolt, early childhood teacher at Horizon Elementary School, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Ginger's been with the district for 20 years. And then consider the retirement of Sharon Cooney, interventionist at Riverview Middle School, effective at the end of the 23-24 school year. Sharon's been with the district for 24 years. Those are our 2 additional retirements.
Wow. Need a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the retirements of these 2.
Second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, now on to the hiring. So consider the approval of a 100% contract for Alexa Sharonbrock to be a special education teacher at Horizon Elementary School, beginning with the 24-25 school year. Alexa received her bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois. This would be Alexa's 7th year of teaching. Just kidding. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Caroline Heckman to be a 4th grade teacher at Fairview Elementary School, beginning the 24-25 school year. Caroline received her bachelor's degree from Concordia University, and this will be Caroline's 1st year of teaching. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Stacy Ostenberg to be a 5th grade teacher at Riverview Middle School, beginning with the 24-25 school year. Stacy's received her bachelor's degree from Illinois Wesleyan University. This will be Stacy's 10th year of teaching. Consider the approval of a 100% contract for Kristen Karpinski to be a special education teacher at Fairview Elementary School, beginning 24-25 school year. Kristen received her bachelor's degree from Dordt College. This will be Kristen's 5th year of teaching. And those are the new hires.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the new hires.
I make a motion to approve the 100% contract of these new hires.
I'll second.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Okay.
We have some support staff. A couple of support staff updates, no action required. Kathy McCabe, special education aide at Fairview Elementary School, has submitted her resignation. Kathy has served the Plymouth School District for 9 years. Keith Arneson has been hired to be the head custodian at Riverview Middle School. Michael Lammers has been hired as a temporary groundskeeper for the school district. And Jackie Ream has been hired to be the secretary at Riverview Middle School.
Okay.
No action required.
No action required, so we'll move on to travel then.
Yes, the 2 travel requests, I don't know if Gail, you want to talk about yours, but I'll do the other one first. The first travel request is to consider the out-of-state travel request from Tracy Heinbuck, agri-science teacher, to take high school students to the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis. If you remember, we've been doing this. Indiana, in October 23rd through the 26th, 2024. This request is in line with board policies. Expenses will be the responsibility of the students and/or their parents through fundraising. And I can just do you want to talk about the other one, or I can do it?
I'd like to.
Okay, you can.
Sure.
Then we'll approve both of them at the same time.
Good.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Gail.
I'm Gail Braun. I've been the varsity softball coach here in Plymouth for over 30 years. Taught in the district for over 30 years. Coach football, 37 years here as well. Every 5 or 6 years, I like to come to the board, and because you see my requests come through for softball trips almost on a yearly basis, where we usually go someplace. So I'd like to let, especially some of the newer board members, know what we do on these trips. Yeah, we play a couple of softball games. We try to get south in March or April, so we get a little bit better weather. But all of our softball trips, we always have an educational component to them. I just jotted down a few things that we've done over the years. Again, the trips that we've gone to, we were in Hawaii about 17 years ago, that was a long time ago. And obviously Pearl Harbor, kids saw Pearl Harbor. And actually my daughter just talked about this when I was down visiting her last week. The last survivor of the USS Arizona passed away this spring. When we were in Hawaii in 2007 with the softball team, all the girls got to interact with 2 of the survivors of the Arizona. They were in their late 80s at the time. And my daughter was just talking about that with the D-Day celebration here, a week or 2 ago at the 80th anniversary of that. She remembered, those kind of things that we do on our trips. The Polynesian Culture Center. When we go to Florida, we've gone to Florida a couple of times. We go to the Kennedy Space Center. We were there a year ago in 23, and we got to see a rocket launch. We were there on the day, and we actually got to see the rocket launch. We were in Texas a number of years ago. We saw the Alamo and did the River Walk in San Antonio. Went and toured the USS Lexington, which is stationed for tours off the coast by Corpus Christi. We drove down there and saw that. We've gone to St. Louis 3 times, and of course the kids always go up in the Arch, and we see the museum that's there, the Gateway Museum. We went to Louisville, the Louisville Slugger Bat Factory, Churchill Downs. We took a tour of Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. What we were asking this year is to go to Nashville. Again, we went to Nashville in 2008 with the softball team. On the agenda will be play a couple of ball games, but also tour Grand Ole Opry, the Country Music Hall of Fame, and the Belmont Mansion, which holds the Civil War Museum in Nashville. I just want to let everybody know that we're a softball team, but we are student athletes. And as a retired educator, and my assistant coach, Paul Grzaniak, who just retired last year, taught here for 35 years as well, We always make sure that there's an educational component to what we do. You know, we just aren't running off and playing some softball games, you know. So, because you're going to hear coming up the next few years, you know, I'm going to request for trips again. And I just want to let everybody know that, you know, there's always something else that we're doing besides the softball, the softball end of it. And just a couple of things. What always gets me is every year there's always one kid, one of the softball kids that will tell me, this is the first time I'm doing this, whether it's flying, which, you know, we'll go to Florida or obviously Hawaii or Texas, we flew, going on a dinner cruise, a boat cruise on a river, which we do, like what we're going to be doing here in Nashville. And on a side note, we did that in Nashville in 2008, and they have live music then on this cruise. And a couple of years later, one of the players, former players, that came back to me and said, hey, did you realize that one of the groups that was playing made it then? I mean, they cut an album, cut a record, I don't know what they do now. It used to be a record or an album back in the day, okay? But anyway, they made it, you know, whatever, you know, you know, we were hearing these groups who were trying to, you know, make it in Nashville, and a couple years after that, one of the groups that we heard on our cruise made an album, you know, and one of the kids knew about it. I didn't know about it, but one of the kids knew about it. So, the first things, you know, when we were on whale watching in Hawaii, obviously that, you know, that was something. We go to Florida, we always drive. We go to the Kennedy Space Center. We drive to the ocean, you know, so the kids can see the ocean. You know, those kind of things. And I just want to let you know, for newer board members, I know a couple of you have been through this before with me, but I just like to inform people. So it's not just a name and something come across here every year when we decide to go someplace. So if anybody has any questions of me, I'd be free to take those, but I just wanted to, and I want to thank Dan. You know, when I started taking these trips 20 years ago, Dan was the principal, and he had, you know, I had his support to go on these kind of things, because I'm sure he probably got a couple phone calls from some parents saying, you know, why is the softball team going to Hawaii, for God's sakes, you know, that kind of thing. And, you know, Dan understood the, you know, the educational part of what we were doing with those, so I thank him for his support over the years for that too, as not only principal and superintendent, so. But, all right.
Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gail.
Okay.
Do you need chaperones?
Yeah.
Well, as you say, the only cost, you know, there's obviously never, the only district cost we've ever had on these trips was when they had to pay for substitutes for Paul or I.
Sure.
And of course, now we're both retired, so there's no longer that cost.
Wow,
So
even easier.
There's no cost anymore. Yeah,
Amy
so
smiles over there.
Good deal. Winning.
Right?
We really appreciate what you do for the girls. That's
Thank you.
fantastic,
Yeah.
so thank you.
It's a labor of love for me, and somebody asked me how long I'm going to keep doing this, and I said, well, you might be seeing me for quite a few years. My granddaughter's only going to be in 3rd grade. So I'm going to be around a couple of years yet, right? So, but it's, you know, I like doing it. Paul loves doing it. We've got understanding wives who realize that that's kind of their vacations then too, you know, and that's
Nice.
and wherever we decide to go. So,
Excellent.
thank you. I appreciate the support from the school district.
Thank you, Gail. All right, so with that, we need a motion to approve both requests.
I move we approve the out-of-state travel requests.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. Item 13, nothing. Item 14 is the president's report. Well, tonight, I want to start out by saying it's really appropriate that this past weekend, our girls won the state championship, the D3 soccer championship for the 2nd year in a row. I believe that's the only team that's won
In Plymouth ever.
2 state championships in a row. I mean, what a great accomplishment. And what a great way to cap off the end of the year. And it's got to be great for you, Dan, because that's what you like to see, right? You like to see kids achieve and grow and reach. And boy, what a great thing that happened on Saturday. So that's great stuff. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is Dan, because tonight is your last board meeting. And you're going to smile, are you?
Smiles of sadness.
Okay, smiles. Well, I want to use tonight to publicly recognize you. I've texted with the board, and they all felt the same way, that I know you really don't want a big party, but still, this is my opportunity. Thank you for everything you've done. And I talked to Katrina a little bit, but, you've been around here since 2003. You started as a high school principal here. We saw you do great things with the school then, encouraging students to be their best, right, Sally, to achieve their best. From there, you were the assistant superintendent, 2013 through 2020, and you've touched a lot of people in your leadership in those roles. A lot of children, a lot of students have achieved great things because you in some way have helped show them a pathway forward. And then you became superintendent in 2020. And you took us through some really challenging times. We navigated COVID and all the aftermath of COVID, and I've got to say, your leadership style and what you did for all of us, you had a steady hand, you calmed the room, and I think staff and students and as board members and as community members, we all really appreciate your style and how you've approached things and how you've shown leadership and really guided us well, navigated, right? So I talked to the board members, and I said, well, what do you want to do? And they said, well, we ought to get you a gift or something, because, if we're not going to throw you a party,
He
we got
would view as gift enough.
Well, is that what it is? Well, so anyway, we started talking about it. It's like, well, what do you get Dan, right? Well, what do we know, about Dan? And the one thing that always came up was when we'd be going through the budget, you always wondered, well, was there a fishing boat maybe in the budget?
Where's the matchbox cover?
Every day he asks.
Every day he asks for a fishing boat.
And every day Amy says no.
Okay, but but we talked about it, right? And the reality is, you've navigated us through some really rough waters. And, that alone was like, well, how appropriate would it be if we got you a fishing boat? But we're a low-spending business. So Dan, it's, wait a minute, here it is. Don't worry, I don't need that much help. Dan, it's not a fishing boat, but it floats on the water. When you're on it, we'll just think about how you helped us navigate, and, thank you for that. But you can't have a fishing boat and not have fishing gear, can you?
No.
So, I was thinking about it, it's like, well, I really don't know what kind of fisherman you are. And I'm a sailor, so I really know nothing about fishing, but I got to thinking about who you are and how you do things, and, your style, you're kind of calm and relaxed. So I just envision you just kind of throw a line in the water and you sit there and you watch the bobber go up and down. So, I spared no expense, and I got you big bobbers. So now you have big bobbers.
Thank you, Bob.
For your little boat, and you'll be able to sit there and watch those, and just know that we really appreciated those things about you. But it can't stop with just bobbers, because you got to connect those bobbers to something. So I thought, well, I got you got to find you a fishing pole, right? And I turned the corner. And I saw this, and it said Dan, all over. It says, catch a monster. So this little fish, this little pole, but you're gonna catch a monster because you're gonna dream big. And that's what you helped mentor and teach all of us, that here in this little pond of Plymouth, right, that we can dream big, we can achieve big things. And that's the gift that you gave us, and now we get to give you this gift.
Very nice.
So thank you again for everything you've done for us, for the district. Just know that these gifts to you are reminders of what you did for us. And then the other thing is, the board will tell you, never send a sailor to go shopping. So we also got you a little gift certificate. Go buy some real fishing stuff. And thank you again for all you've done.
Appreciate it, thank you.
You're welcome.
My daughter caught her first big pike on something this big, and it destroyed the rod. It was a disposable one-time thing. It was like a big pike up on Lake of the Woods when she was probably about this tall.
Nice.
Thank you very much. I was just going to talk a little bit about some of the accomplishments, achievements. A big thing, of course it is, and so this has been one heck of a spring. Of course, the soccer team, that's not just 2 wins in a row, that's a second, a first, and a first.
Right.
Which now bumps us up to Division II.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
The new WIAA rule sends us into Division II, but I think we played, was it Kimberly? We played somebody this year, we kind of hung right with them. No, it wasn't Kimberly, it was somebody else, but in Division II. So I think the coaches are feeling that they're going to be okay.
All right.
Even in
Good.
Division II. But we had a Division I this year because of some weird numbers, state second place finish in doubles and tennis. That's the first we've ever had of that. So that was for the boys. And those 2 people were Owen Plate and Jaron Baltus. So that was really impressive. Our softball team won the regional. We're 1 game away from state. So that was good. Our baseball team went all the way to the regional final and lost to Kiel, but it was a tight game, like 9-5. There were a lot of people at every one of these events, and so that was great. And then in track, we had Wyatt Herzog go down to state, and he took 5th, and my son Eddie went down to state. That was in the 400, and Eddie went down in the discus and took 7th. So that was like, every day there was some big achievement happening, and so that's wonderful. I also wanted to say thank you. I might just have to leave it at that. Really, because the staff here has been wonderful. The kids and families as well. The board as well. And I couldn't imagine being in a better place for 21 years. It's been a fantastic place to have our kids grow up next to each other, fishing in the pond, and your kids that went through the school that I knew and coached and taught and talked to on a regular basis, and it's a wonderful place to be. But I think the district is in really good hands. Scott's coming in. I think you have a lot of great qualities, and you are a I think, going to be, again, a steady hand, but I think you're going to bring all kinds of new and important improvements to the district as well. And I think your leadership is going to be perfect for this group. The board is in, I think, really good hands. We have people that care that are on the board that, for the most part, get along, can totally disagree, that's fine, but you come out with the same mission at all times, which is we're taking care of kids across the board. We're trying to work together, maybe with the city, working on things, moving into the future. And the fact that you are united, not necessarily in philosophy or in even what you believe the direction that we should go, but you're united in the fact that you will work and listen to each other, try to understand, you ask questions that are important, and you can come to ultimately to an agreement. And like I've said so many times, it is so important for a board to be unified, because when they're not, the district there are struggles that happen. And so that, again, that doesn't mean you have to agree on everything, but it means that you're still, your number one focus is the kids are learning and growing and achieving, and the staff that is helping them do that is a high-quality staff. And so you're in that space, and you've been in that space for some time, and I really appreciate that fact. And just finally, I would like to say, sometimes the roles that I've been in can sometimes, Jerry, there can be conflict, and sometimes that comes out in ways that are a bit isolating, and my wife has borne the brunt of that sometimes, and I apologize to her publicly for that. I knew what I was getting into. She maybe didn't. And so sometimes it gets hard, and so I want to make sure she knows that I appreciated that as well. So I think I'm done. And again, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Well, Dan, again, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right?
Yep.
You're going to do great things next. We don't know what, but probably a big fish.
Catch a big fish.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, with that, we will move on to, I need a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.851C to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of public employee over which governmental body has jurisdiction. So I need a motion to move into closed session.
So
Second.